It's like Casey just sort of forgot about Game of Thrones.
Casey, do you believe in love after loss? Is the real question.
Who has a better story than Casey the Broken?
Oh my god.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vassals of Kingsgrave for our first episode of the series premiere of House of the Dragon podcast. We're back. We're relevant again. We love it. Maybe more than 2 people are listening. That's awesome. My name is Adam, also known as drownedsnow across the interwebs, and I am joined by Casey.
Hello, it's Casey, Blue-Eyed Queen.
Jucio.
Hey, it's King Jucio or Benjamin.
Katie.
This is Katie, Lady Griffin, or Dead Leaves in My Hand.
Matt.
What's up, y'all?
As always, Michael.
Hey guys, Michael, Khal, Wadege.
All right, welcome. So that's great. Went smooth. Introductions as usual. Everything was great. There were no problems there. So this is the first episode of the new HBO series, prequel spinoff of Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire World, House of the Dragon. And we just watched it. I know that there were spoilers kind of lurking around the internet. It premiered in some regions a little early. What did we think? Do we want to give this some kind of like lemon cake or arbitrary rating as we do? You know, it doesn't mean anything, but it's fun. I don't know, like how many like bashed in knights' heads or something. I don't know. Who wants to go first?
First. I don't have a 5 lemon cakes out of 5. Yeah, I mean, having just reread Fire and Blood, I was super hyped for it, and I guess I do have some quibbles, but they're not big enough to detract a full lemon cake. Maybe like a 4.8. I don't know. Like at this point, I feel like I would rather have Fire and Blood Part 2 than The Wind of Winter. I'm obsessed with Targaryens, and so this was kind of everything I wanted. And I really like the actor who plays Viserys, and I really like the actor who plays Daemon, and I thought the dynamic was good and surprising. And I don't know. I'm really excited for where the season goes, and it felt good. I have no big complaints. I have a few little complaints.
All right. That's a great way to start us off. Casey, what do you think?
So, I don't know, I was thinking of like giving it a 5 out of 5 lemon cakes because like I'm just happy to be back with, this show and stuff, but I think I'm kind of with Katie. Like there's a couple things where I was like, but might as well eat all the lemon cakes and give it a 5 out of 5.
Nice. Very nice. What about you, Michael?
I don't know if I've got a lemon cake rating in my mind, so I guess I'll just go with 5 out of 5 and say I'm really optimistic for the show's future. It was really well done.
Coming off of the way Game of Thrones ended and the way the last couple years have been, I think the enthusiasm and kind of positivity towards like, hey, this might actually be good, is a good thing to see. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a rating. I'm pretty hyped for the show going in. I'm enjoying it so far. Like, I feel like I'm still watching it while standing on the edge of a crevasse, just like waiting to be pushed in.
I will not dare to hope.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff I like about this. But I think that the main draw for me going into this show is the Rhaenyra Alicent like dynamic, and so I'm kind of just like holding my breath right now. I would say probably the standout here is the tourney action. I thought was a lot of fun, even with the quick cuts. I really like Corlys. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
He was a blast, and Matt Smith is just really doing it. Like, this should be fun. Quibbles where, just the random nudity still feels awkward, and the whole bit about the others at the end feels awkward.
Yeah. I'm
being
fully
like,
taking a point down then. Well, no, I'll take it down to 4.5 because Song of Ice and Fire line
Yeah.
fully ripped
We're
me out of it.
We're gonna get to that.
But other than that, had a blast.
Okay. And what say you, Benjamin, Lord of Trivia?
I really enjoyed it. Like, probably a 5 out of 5 for me as well. I thought Paddy Constantine as Viserys was amazing. I really think he stole it. And in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I was not expecting going into it to be blown away by his actor. And dude pulled it off. I think also Otto's actor, Rhys Ifans, I had to look it up, was amazing. Wasn't expecting him to be that good either. And Damon was also great. Just very lots of Matt Smith doing things. I had the same issue as you, Lady Griffin, because I didn't like that at the end there, but overall, I really enjoyed it.
So I'm gonna agree with you guys. I really had a great time watching this, and I mean, I'll give it like a 5 out of 5. I mean, I'm not gonna like quibble about stuff. It was not perfect, but I think that the feeling that like we're all back and we're excited and like this wasn't a disaster and they're doing a lot of the things that we want. Like, I mean, you guys have mentioned just little stuff like the tournament. I think Bina mentioned it too, was like, compare this to the tournament of the tournament of the hand in season 1, that looked like it was, held in somebody's backyard. Just way better. The CG looks good. We got, dragons right off the bat, kind of not too much of that. And I guess like I was surprised by some of the casting because I didn't pay too close of attention to all of the casting. And so there were some actors in there. I mean, like Graham McTavish, I noticed. Who was he?
Harold Westerling.
Harold Westerling, yeah.
Kingsgrave.
I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So that's great. They really got some good talent in here. I think the and like you said, I didn't expect King Viserys to come off so well, and that performance just in one episode told me like, okay, we're going to be good. But I feel like I don't know. There's stuff to nitpick at. Like, I guess some people said they got that sex scenes again, which I get. The ice and fire connection, which I think we're all going to be like, that's a bit of a groan. But I feel like that's an inclusion for the show audience to try to kind of connect the continuity and bring people in right away. And so I see why they do that. And I guess, it probably is going to be irrelevant anyway for the show, right? So, I'm fine with that. I do feel like, I don't know if you guys have the same issue, but I felt like it was a bit dark, like just like visually. It's like the same thing with like some of the episodes in season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones. Like I had to turn my brightness up in parts, and like I have a different TV than I had back then, even like a much better TV. And there are times I'm like I can barely see what's going on. So I don't know. That would probably be like my one like big detraction aside from some of the story beats. Are kind of go so quick. But the costuming, the casting, they've clearly spent a lot of money on this. They wanted to succeed, or at least they did before HBO is starting to be gutted. So we'll see how it goes. I'm optimistic. I hope this is a good season. I hope that people engage with the show again, and it was a lot of fun.
I didn't have that darkness issue with my TV, but
Yeah, me neither.
I had in the first scene in Harrenhal, I had a little bit where it felt a little too dark. Although it's Harrenhal, so it's supposed to be
Right.
dark and spooky. But at the same time, most of it was pretty great. Pretty
What do y'all think about the choice of opening the series with the council at Harrenhal?
I think it was a good way to frame it. I thought I liked the basically like the almost House of the almost Fire and Blood like narration that we had going on of the events in the council.
Yeah, I was
Kate.
wondering what they were gonna do to set it up, because like I was joking about this on the Skype, but I had to draw a family tree for my mom and dad, like to kind of explain where everybody's gonna fall in terms of the conflict. I'm like, man, like this is really complicated succession to the uninitiated, but they simplified it really well. Like they took Laenor out of the equation and just made it between Rhaenys and Viserys, and it's like, okay, that actually that establishes the gender imbalance that cuts like some extraneous characters out of the mix. It was a good choice, I think. Very
also think it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I also think it makes sense because they were going to fuck with the ages of Laenor and all of the kids, so having them be at the council as like babies.
Right. Well, they weren't. I don't think they were born yet. Like in this timeline, like the way the show's doing it, like I think they're younger than.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Rhaenyra. Yeah.
They are, maybe? I have no idea for sure.
No,
I mean, those kids looked younger.
I think they'll give us a good bit of exposition on this, at least, especially for some of us kind of need a refresher, and certainly for the people watching at home, like, wait, who's that? What's going on? Especially because half of these people are related to each other, or intermarried or whatever. But the council scenes, until that kind of, I guess you'll still have those for a while, but until that kind of devolves, the council scenes are a good way to, like, let me make it clear, so and so is, like, they can put it all out there in a way that doesn't feel too beating you over the head with it.
I agree. I look at the what was it, the scene where they're talking about the succession right after Alicent's not Alicent, sorry, Emma's death, and they kind of laid out Rhaenys's claim even better for the audience. I didn't really need it, and I figure most of us didn't, but I think for the uninitiated, it helps.
So we'll move on, and if she gets that fixed, she can just kind of come in whenever. We'll see what you got. So what were we talking about here?
The next scene is Rhaenyra flying in on Syrax, which I have a question. Is it a different CGI like production department that's like doing the dragons? Because they look different.
That's a good question.
I was wondering the same thing. When I was watching it with Greg, I was like, "This is like you can see the CGI, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's CGI," and I'm like, "No, like you can actually see the CGI, and not like you could in Game of Thrones."
I think part of it, like the faces of the dragons look very different, but also like Syrax is like a bright yellow, and I'm like, that's way harder to make look like non-cartoonish.
Yeah.
I will say it looked pretty great though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And same with Caraxes at the end, and I do like that the dragons look very different. Like his is like a long, the bloodworm.
Bloodworm. I was thinking the same thing. Bloodworm, and he's long neck boy.
With leg wings or whatever they are.
I've got a friend, and he's been like editing his neck to make it longer, just messing with it. It's just hilarious. Great image.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a different company, but they definitely are doing a much better job.
I would say it's a step up at the very least from Game of Thrones.
Either it's more of a priority and they put more money into it, or they have a different company, or they're taking different direction. I don't know.
Or they're treating
whatever it is,
animators better.
Right. Like, no. I want them all to look the same, and I don't even really need to see them. Okay, it's good. Just put it up there. I don't care.
Make it better for less money.
Yeah.
And less time.
You have 3 hours to get it in there. I don't care about that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it holds up. But I feel like you can't do this show, and I think a lot of us thought, they'll never do House of the Dragon because like so expensive, so much CG. Like they couldn't do it. But you can't do this show without doing the dragons right, and I think they realize that.
Yeah.
And
They've
dragon
pretty
pit
much.
dudes.
Yes.
That
I was wondering.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just wondering, like, all those guys, like, circling around the dragons, like, are they not scared? Like, are they just, this is what they do, I guess, because this is the time of the dragons, but it's just, like, so different from Game of Thrones and what we saw there with people around dragons.
Got burns on them. Like,
Yeah.
Well, then, like, I guess, like, King's Landing is probably, like, like the New Yorker, someone comes to visit, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're shocked by everything, and the New Yorker's like, seen it before, or, like, when, in comic books, it's like, oh, the supervillain's, destroying the city again. You're like, yeah, I got an appointment to get to. But, like, because you've seen it. But I did have a thought of when he told him to head back to Runestone, I'm like, Runestone's not that big. So some of these people at this time married off, and they would take their dragons, to other places where they married or other places they held. What was it like if you were like a local somewhere else, and like someone married into your family or whatever, and suddenly like we've got to figure out how to keep a dragon here? Like, I mean, yeah.
Kind of the Rhaenyra problem.
oh yeah, she
when
was
she
eating Far Island out of House and Home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
go ahead. Sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
you're good. You're good. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very intentional shot where, like, the people of King's Landing do not react to the dragon flying overhead. It's like same shit, different day. They're not at all fazed by this part of their lives.
Yeah, because at this point, what, they have like at least 15 dragons or odd living in the place.
Yeah, the showrunners have come out and said that they're planning on including like 17 over the course of the series, and I believe 9 in the first season. It's kind of why they had to put so much focus on here, because they have to make them all look different, so it can be, because they each have.
Yeah, some of them are going to have beards, beards and maybe some fake noses and glasses or something to make them look different.
Yeah, one with a big old Santa hat.
It's that fucking photo of the Hydra thing, the 2 serious ones, and then the fucking silly with the eyes all weird.
Like, oh, what happened? Is that sheep stealer?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say, Valyrian. I'm loving the amount of Valyrian in this show. Spoken High Valyrian.
Yes.
Like,
And it sounds great.
it's cool that they have the detail, they speak it to the dragon, and then that adds a layer of when Rhaenyra speaks to Daemon in Valyrian, it's like their secret language. But it's also like a sign of respect, like, I'm a dragon, you're a dragon, we have our dragon language. It's cool. I appreciate that detail.
Hightowers can't listen to us when we're talking our language.
I will say the implication of that scene to me was also that Viserys doesn't speak it either.
Right.
Just because the way Daemon was talking, like if they were clearly talking about him, and he would be close enough to overhear it. So I am curious about that.
Is Viserys not a dragon rider, right?
He
not
is.
since Valyrian.
Not since Valyrian, but he is a dragon rider.
Okay.
He was, yeah.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, I feel like that's like he's like.
I mean,
he's still testing. Right, yeah, that's why sticking his hand over the flame, like almost testing himself. I was curious if they were gonna like hone in on that to show that he's kind of like losing some of it. That'd be interesting.
I think it's because of the preceding scene, the whole like you're weak thing.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's like we know that he is one of the good ones.
Yeah, goodish. I mean,
Yeah.
he's more of an oaf in the book. Here, it's like he's competent, but you can feel him taking the easy way out of the conversations.
You can feel
Yeah.
he doesn't have the power that you'd want out of a strong king.
Right.
But
I will say
Yeah.
that scene of him, I think what we think is on Dragonstone. Not sure if it's on Dragonstone, but with him and his council, that scene is great. It's so good. I know I'm hopping around here, but that is so good. The way he just takes his council in hand and starts destroying them. Ah. A Feast for Crows too.
Yeah.
Fun reference.
Yeah. And I will say all the Valyrian is good to see that pay off. I know, like seeing David Peterson talk at Ice and Fire Con, he kind of went into a lot of how he created the language and even like the letters and all that, which is pretty interesting. But I guess like forever in throughout the whole run of Game of Thrones, he's like, oh, let me make the language, and they were like, nah, we don't need it, and then House of the Dragon, they were like, yeah, man, do it, So I do think it's nice to see them investing, because you don't necessarily have to do that, do you?
No, you can take the easy way out of it.
Yeah.
But it's nice when they
It's better
put in
this
the
way.
effort. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That scene when Daemon's sitting on the throne, to get back to like more chronological, when he's sitting on the throne and Rhaenyra comes to visit him, and like tell him to get off, basically. That primo stuff.
I was a little worried, like, oh, would Matt Smith play? And in the costume, in the armor, like the presence is there, the performance is there. So I was really happy by that.
He definitely gets saddled with the goofiest wig, but manages to make it look good.
Yeah, somehow.
More of a maid.
Greg was like he looked more like an elf than, or like elvish, I guess, from like Lord of the Rings or whatever.
There was
Yeah,
a couple
it does.
shots like that where it's like, especially him. I think it's right after the battle, or not battle. It's right after the like doling out of justice or whatever on the streets of King's Landing, and he's at the council, and he's like, "You look like you're right out of Tolkien or something."
He's got good villain face. He's got like sunken eyes. He's kind of angular jaw. But that doling out of justice that scene was very bizarre to me, because it was just like grab random people and start hacking limbs off, like without
they
any.
did quick crimes on them, right?
I think they were a group of criminals. That was meant to be the idea, but it definitely came across like these are random peasants.
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
that was
They didn't give us any proof that these people had done anything. I mean, afterwards he said he was punishing criminals, but like, for all I knew, it was just people from the crowd.
Yeah,
the guy
it
was
was.
pointing his sword and he was saying rapist, murderer, thief. They were clearly criminals, guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where's the due
Hopefully you weren't
process?
walking by when that happened.
I will say the gold cloaks look awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I would think, and I rarely ever talk bad on season 1 of Game of Thrones, but they look considerably better than then and at any other point in time, because they just, I don't know, they look more professional, more organized, and considerably like better in what do you call it? Oh, like they just feel like soldiers and or
Yeah,
watchmen.
they say in the
Better
council
equipped and trained.
that they spent an enormous amount of money to make them look good, so maybe that was a comment on the costuming department.
So, question for y'all: what did y'all think of the scene in the Weirwood Grove?
The history
mean-
lesson?
Yeah, with Alicent and Rhaenyra.
They're close.
Yeah, I'm getting some like crushy vibes. Like,
Mhm.
all I want is for you to get on my dragon.
That's what I say. I've been getting that all week. Yeah, like, have you seen the photos they've been posting of this shit? Like,
Yeah, it's hard to tell if this is like just we're girl pals or if this is like some one-sided crush. It
yeah,
feels
no,
intense.
yeah, that's why, like, I'm holding my breath just to like see if they're actually gonna go for it or if they're gonna like be cowards about it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like at least Rhaenyra has a little bit of a crush, which I think probably will play into how crushing it'll be when Alicent turns
Fucks
or
her
whatever.
dad.
Yeah.
It says right here in this book that I'm gonna have sex with your dad.
Also, Greg wanted me to mention that he audibly gasped when she ripped out the page of the book because it's a very old book.
So did I. Books are expensive.
That's also
Classic
like,
Greg.
why are you destroying it? No.
Yeah, it's great how Otto Hightower just immediately farms out his daughter. Put
Yeah.
on your
Oh,
mother's gown.
Jesus.
That scene
Ugh.
was gross. Scene was so gross.
I mean, where she comes to visit him in the king's chamber and he's building his like Gundam set or whatever, his Gundam figures.
His
I like
Lego
that
set,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah. That felt believable where he's clearly looking at her as a child and then he kind of just has a big like lets his guard down. It was a good breaking of the ice.
Listen, in that scene especially, it felt reasonably tense for her. Like, she has every reason to feel like awkward and tense. And also sad, of course, because like I don't think she actually wanted Emma to die or Rhaenyra to not have a mom, you know? So, especially, of course, because they talk about in this episode, like, recently her own mother had passed. So I'm sure that brings up those memories.
She wasn't torn up about her brother getting his face mashed off at the
Yeah,
tourney.
that was weird. Like, I thought she was worried, and all of a sudden, like, just did not give a fuck.
She looked more excited to give him the favor. I thought that was weird.
Maybe
I
he
thought-
wasn't hurt as bad as it seemed. Because my first initial thought was like, oh, he's fucking dead. But I guess it's just a scrape.
Yeah.
I kind of saw like a look between Alicent and her father, like right before giving that kind of showed that she was a little bit like hesitant, but she has to do this because it would look bad if she didn't otherwise. But like I felt like they were kind of like looking at each other, like, or she was looking at least for him, like wondering if like things were okay or not.
See, I took a look as she was appearing too excited to do it. Because at first it seemed like she was excited and like more bubbly. And then she turns to her father and she seems to dull in mood. At least to my eye. I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewatch that just to make sure.
No, that was my impression as well, is that she looks at her father and checks herself, like she's embarrassed by her excitement. Because she knows he disapproves. Quick question, is Kristen Cole Dornish in the text? I don't remember that detail.
I thought he was from the Stormlands, but he might be I think he's from specifically the Dornish Marches.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he could technically look Dornish without being Dornish, but maybe they're just switching it up based on the actor they got to play him. I don't.
There's also like the whole like what do you call it? Places that are close together and have lots of blood feuds also end up intermarrying a bunch.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Brackens and Blackwoods are basically the same house at this point. They just hate each other.
Because yeah, the character could just be wrong, like on her read.
Also true. Yeah.
Of what he looks like. So.
They wouldn't make it that difficult. It's probably just Dornish.
Yeah,
True.
probably.
What did we think of the displays of violence at this kingly tourney, where people are getting their faces smashed in and stuff?
Yeah, I was surprised. It just took me aback because I wasn't expecting it. Obviously the deaths are usually just accidents from tourneys as they blunt the stuff.
Yeah, they're not supposed to kill each other on purpose
Yeah,
unless
Right,
there's
yeah.
different rules.
Yeah, but you could also just change that up in style and interpret it, just like a, blood sport for the masses in a Colosseum-esque thing. I could see a reason behind it, into making that change. But yeah, I was a little taken aback. But they just make it so that those people fighting aren't, actual like important lords and shit.
I mean, there was actually one of my favorite parts of the episode was Bormund showing up to ask for Rhaenys' favor, and then the little comment that Otto had afterwards about having the man's tongue out.
Whoops.
And people go like, ooh, or they like laugh awkwardly or something when he says that. It was a nice touch.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of the whorehouse scenes? Our favorite.
It's just like I don't care. It just feels, at least they're not really like speechifying.
Oh yeah, that's
while in the middle of it.
actually my compliment is that I actually
Right.
I like the scenes.
Yeah, baby steps.
They're not. Yeah, there's no sex position. I thought it actually did some legwork for Damon's character in that he's more comfortable there among the whores and the small folk than he is up in in the castle. And also, like in the book, it makes it when he jokes about Viserys' son dying, it makes it seem like he's a total prick and he's just doing it for like his own amusement. And here it just seems like it's something he's put up to, and he doesn't mean anything by it, or he's not doing it out of necessarily malice. It's just like whatever. He's drunk.
Yeah, I do like that change.
His own even exclamation possibly rings true. The whole "we all grieve in our own ways." But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not willing to give him all of that, to be fair, because he did say a pretty shitty thing.
Sure.
That being said, I think that one was the better of the two whorehouse scenes, personally.
Mhm.
I think that one that one felt less exploitative, I guess, mostly because it was like more necessary to the plot.
Yeah, I think it's just you can't help but think back, like no matter what they do.
Can't help but think back to season 1 when Peter Baelish says, "Play with her arse," and
Yeah.
then starts talking to the camera for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Now let me explain my backstory.
Yeah, it's just too bad because I do really like the actress that's playing Massaria.
Oh, you think is she actually listed as Massaria?
Well, so I was one because I couldn't quite tell at first if it was her. Um, I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name. I can never say it right. But no, the subtitles came up and listed Massaria. So
Oh, cool.
confirmed. Yeah, no, but yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff like the Alex Garland stuff, like Ex Machina and whatnot, and she was in Crazy Rich Asians too.
Is she doing the dance in Ex Machina with
Yep.
Oscar Isaac? Oh my god, that's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, exactly. No, she's an awesome actress.
I hope she does the
Sonoya
dance.
Mizuno?
Yep.
Mizuno. Okay. I still have to see Ex Machina. Sorry.
Say what?
Hey, well, I'll get to it.
It's okay. I haven't seen it either.
It's really good.
Oh, random note on the Tourney. I saw Bolton shield. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, they definitely laid him out on purpose.
Yeah, right.
I really like the quick turn on the jousting thing like that, where
Oh
they're
my
just like
God, yeah.
back and forth and immediate. Like that's what kind of got the first like gasp out of me in the episode. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
And the
Damon
horses
knocks that guy's over with his horse's ass. It looks good.
Yeah.
The horses looked great. I've got to say, horses have been always great. You know, they're great actors, great little horses, but they look great.
The dragon armor on Damon's horse looked really nice.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the parts on the neck, going up the back of the neck of the horse.
It kind of bothers me that he doesn't have a visor, but that seems like something he would do, so I'll forgive it.
Very
What-
on brand.
What bothered me more was when Kristen Cole didn't close his. I was like, "What are you doing? Close your visor. There's wood flying all around. You can get it in your eyes."
At least they
did you
have helmets.
Yeah.
Fair. At least they have helmets.
Yeah, that whole Tourney scene where they were going back and forth between the Tourney and everything that was happening in the Tourney, which was very violent, and then the baby being born was a lot. I feel like I was kind of just like, oh no, and then like there was that one scene where the kid in the background threw up, and I was like laughing about that for 2 seconds, and it made it a little bit better, but I was still just like, oh my god. And the 4th C-section
the squire in the back was great. Yeah, okay, so that's where my like work knowledge intrudes. Like, that is not a proper C-section incision.
Nope.
Yeah.
It blew my mind that they didn't tell her beforehand. I guess.
Yeah, even
Like, maybe
even
have.
with
I mean,
Alyssa-
obviously she's dazed and drugged, but I don't know. Like, you can have a bit of a conversation and be like, I don't know. It kind of drove me nuts that, like, okay, honey, the baby's about to be born.
Because he didn't even seem to know that this was a thing you could do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Really powerfully. Like, it kind of. I had to like kind of mute my TV because I was like, it was blood curdling how like despairing those screams were.
that scene was very visceral, very rough, and it was something. I will say to like go back to Fire and Blood for a second. They told Alyssa when she was gonna have what was it, Boros's baby? They told her and she agreed to it. Real bad, Viserys. Real bad. That is not cool, dude. That was horrible. It was like really horrible.
I'm assuming that like he either was
Is
so
anyone there?
like dazed about not like.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard a hello.
Oh, okay. I kept on hearing Katie saying, "Can you guys hear me?" Sorry. Oh.
Okay, she needs to leave and come back.
Yeah.
One second.
But no, I was just saying that it felt like to me like Viserys either knew that like her answer would be to like save her and not the baby, or he was just like so like blinded by wanting a son that like he just was like, get the baby out, I want the baby. And
I don't think it was that. I think it was like the Maester made it clear you don't really have a choice, and he didn't know what to do at that point. Like, I don't think there was a like, let me have a conversation. I think there was a like, let me have a moment with my wife before she's dead, and like try to console her whatever way I can. Like, I don't think it was like a, like he did, like, I don't know. They clearly don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even know this was a thing. So, and then like when she saw the knife, she was completely freaking out. So it's not like she even realized what was going on.
Yeah.
The Maester was saying that she was gonna die either way.
Which, I mean, might be complete bullshit, but I mean,
right, yeah.
That's what they presented to him. So,
wearing my tinfoil hat, it is complete bullshit. I'm playing.
Sorry.
Well, there was some in the inside the episode. There was some awkward talk from from Miguel and Condal, like, about that topic, which is not going to come off well of two random guys talking about this scene.
I think I did laugh though when the maester is holding the baby. He's like, "You have a son," and then the baby like makes a coughing noise.
Coughing noise, yeah, like
Right,
sputtering.
yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah. It's supposed to cry.
You have a baby here. Cough, cough. I'm dying.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that horrific incident behind us.
Ooh, to go back to the Tourney, Steve Toussaint, Corlys Velaryon, and Rhaenys like being catty with each other, talking. I loved it. I love it. All of it. I need more on-time screen with them. On-screen time.
Those two are great. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
I will say I'm annoyed her hair isn't black, but I get it.
Yeah, I always forget that because it's.
Well,
What is
CNC
her-
wrong.
Silver,
Her-
and then it was changed to black, and now it's back to silver.
Oh, that's right, because she's. Okay, yeah.
Half Baratheon, yeah. Seed is strong.
I will get in here.
Yes.
Yes.
And yeah. Yep. She was Rogar's daughter. Oh no, I was just cutting in because I
Thank
know
you.
that lore. For some reason it stuck with me. So
Are we at the? Sorry, I dropped out a couple of times. Are we at the Song of Ice and Fire
Well,
thing?
We're not yet.
Can't
quite
be
yet.
pretty much. We're getting
You know,
close,
right.
but
Yeah, just about.
yeah. So baby dead, queen dead, and
Kristen Cole wins.
yeah, I didn't get a good look at him. I couldn't tell who was playing him, but
Noted winner, Kristen Cole.
yep, such a winner.
I did like that they started off with him using his Morning Star already. So nice touch already. But yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I really did enjoy the scene where it's like the small council and the important lords of the court like getting the news and like rushing off of the tourney, and Rhaenyra is like stuck there kind of, because I assume that she kind of knows what might be happening, or at least might be worried about what's happening, because we also see her earlier in the episode like being very concerned over her mother, and I have to assume that comes from the pregnancy issues Emma's already had.
What facial expression was she making when she saw that? I kind of missed that. Was she like, "Oh shit," or was she like, I missed what she was emoting.
To me, it looked like dread almost, but I like kind of the idea that like she was previously excited and then like it was drained out of her almost.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. I think that it was kind of like she knew something was wrong. She may have not like really understood what was wrong, but she definitely knew something was wrong.
Which, we already know that she was, like, as I said before, she was worried already about her mom and the pregnancy. And then we got that scene with Viserys and Emma, where I mean it's kind of obvious that they've suffered a lot with her pregnancy issues and like the numerous miscarriages that she had.
That was nice in that it acknowledged the grief that comes with losing so many babies. I just feel that that's something in A Song of Ice and Fire that like it's never really touched upon. It's just mentioned, oh, and this woman had 10 miscarriages, and poor Rhaenyra, she had 11. Yeah.
Oh god.
And oftentimes the focus is like, like even in history, like, oh, that woman was barren, or, how horrible for the husband to not get an heir,
Yeah, it was a real shame that that house couldn't live on.
Right.
I like that she says, this is the last one. I can't do it. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's hand jobs from now on, Viserys.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have multiple wives. Come on. Yeah. If only the whole question of succession didn't have to require a penis.
If only, if only.
But alas, we're stuck with it.
That one guy got his ball chopped off. I think we can solve it that way.
Yeah, we
The rapist.
got to see his jiggly ass for 2 blurry seconds.
Listen,
They opened with that too. That was like the
he
start
had
of
some
that
cake.
scene.
Good for him.
Oh
He just lost everything else.
man, it was rough.
Is that how you traditionally cut someone's balls off? You reach in from the back? I would have thought going in from
Oh
the front would
no!
have been
I
better.
thought it was obvious they cut his penis off. They didn't cut his balls off, did they?
I thought it looked like a ball sack,
Traditionally.
but maybe I was not looking at it closely enough. I don't know.
I was deeply invested in.
Look at the penis, then it's even
Yeah.
worse.
It was a very
Not-
non-traditional castration.
My eyes were glued to the screen on this one. Let me tell you.
Fucking pausing and like walking right up to an inch of the screen.
Rewind. Okay.
Run that back.
That's what took so long to join us.
By the way, there's a weeks ahead trailer up on YouTube now. You can go watch after this.
Finally.
So do we want to talk about changes?
Daemon and Viserys in the throne room, which is terrific.
Oh
Both
my
of those
God.
actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough, and yeah, I it's does I forget how Viserys dies in the book.
Are we allowed to say? Is that a spoiler? Like,
Aren't we all book
Who
people here?
cares?
okay, yeah.
Also, we don't know if they're gonna
He cuts his
That-
hand. It gets
Yeah.
Well, but
infected.
spoilers? Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that last cut when he talked to Daemon is like the final, is like the one that's going to get infected if they're going to go as fast as I think they are, but
Or
I
it
don't know.
just foreshadows him eventually getting the
Dying.
final cut.
Yeah. Just like never like ever recovering maybe.
Yeah, because he has
Infection-
sores, like, from where he's gotten pricked before.
yeah, infection can take a long time.
Yeah.
I wonder,
he's-
like, because they have that sore on his back, and he says it's from sitting on the throne, and they're like, it's not healing. And I wondered if, like,
Looks awful.
there's- if that's some suggestion that, like, maybe he has, like, some Targ weakened immune system, like, from.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Since he's because it's usually the Dragon Rider thing that like affirms that, and since he
Oh.
hasn't rode a dragon in years, like that's what I was talking about earlier with
Right.
like the Valyrian scene.
I mean, Greg's first thought was grayscale, and I was like, no, they're not doing that.
That would be weird.
No, but I think they, like the costume department used kind of the same soup as they did for Sam's
Yeah.
crazy. They're like, oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
They could have
I'm flashing back.
to a meat pie, if they wanted.
Yeah, flashing back to the Sam, what do you call it? Montage.
He's the pretty man. Look, I'm just going to cut the grayscale out. Don't know why anyone ever thought of this.
Cut to hot pie.
Just give me all the chain links. I'm done here.
Fucking Jorah.
I rewatched the first episode of Game of Thrones before this just to kind of get prepped, and there's some stark contrast. But
Here to tie into that, here's my question. Because yeah, I do think the Song of Ice and Fire thing is to kind of loop it into the original series for the show watching demographic. But I'm also thinking, like, the first episode of Game of Thrones, you have that intro with the White Walkers, so it establishes there's some supernatural apocalyptic shit going on. and then you cut to Winterfell and just kind of leave the White Walkers behind as it is in the book. And so that kind of has like the forward momentum of like there's this larger threat hanging over everything, and they don't really have that in the show. Like like the first scene establishes a lot of themes, but it doesn't establish like a goal or a looming threat. So I feel like they had to slip that in there to be like, look, there really are larger stakes at play. Like it's not just this dynastic infighting. There's actually like apocalyptic circumstances that we have to keep in mind. Like I could see that like being a very writer room solution.
Yeah, I agree. Because especially once things get really bad, like, why don't you just give up? Or, oh no, I have to be the one because I know, I know how to prevent this. But I don't think it'll come up that much. I think it's just.
I really hope it doesn't. I personally despise that theory. Like, it's
Yeah,
one of my
it's-
least favorite ideas about the story.
It
It only makes
weakens a lot of the
sense.
conflict where it makes it less about the character feelings and more about the prophecy and the effect that it has on them. But I do think it makes sense because it also starts out the show saying this is 172 years before Daenerys, who uses her dragons to stop the White Walkers.
How important that is. That's why I think it won't matter as much, because even if they play it up more than we would like, the viewer knows, well, that's not going anywhere for a while,
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
That-
I
I
sure
think
hope
I
it
think it's
doesn't.
getting mentioned again. I think like it's a one and done thing.
I hope so, because
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
he called it a song of ice and fire. I was like, dear God, no.
We also got the Feast for Crows line.
Yeah, but that was
see,
more
that
subtle. It
was
was
a good
nice.
one. Yeah,
fair.
like that was well written. This one was not.
There
Like
was a
that's
couple. There was a couple other lines like just ripped straight from Fire and Blood, like the bronze bitch line about the women in the veil thing.
mhm.
Where people
Just
fuck
Damon-
sheep because the sheep are more attractive
Pleasant.
than the women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a deeper question though. They said that Aegon had a prophetic dream about the dragons needing to survive, and it was a song of ice and fire. Like in the books, we know that's like Rhaegar's line from Dany's vision. But what if he gets it from his dreams from Aegon? Like he discovered, like, is this George knowledge that's bleeding into the show now, where it's like this was a Targaryen thing from the start, the Song of Ice and Fire?
I mean, yes and no.
In the world of Ice and Fire, it just says Valyrian priests prophesize that the doom of man comes out from a land beyond the narrow sea. So I think it even precedes Aegon by a bit.
Okay.
But
This is
like also, but
speculating it, so you know it's true.
I mean, yeah, but after Fire and Blood came out, it seems like that is the most. To me, it's the most likely reasoning behind him deciding to just all of a sudden conquer Westeros in the first place.
Mhm.
So like I buy that part of it. It's just like the scene just fell flat coming on this random ass TV show rather than us like reading it in a book. Like
Yeah.
that was my main thing with it, where it's just like the dialogue fell flat, and I was just like, well, that was like this could be a huge thing, and that was just fucking anticlimactic as hell.
If you kept it
Yeah,
like
vague, it would be fine, but like, yeah, he just won't shut up. He's like, a cold wind will come out of the distant north, and when this northerly wind comes, it will be bad. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I felt
was-
like the scene was going well, and then like I was like, "Ooh, prophecy! I kind of like that." And then they said like literally like the thing, and I was just like, "Oh, no."
He said the title.
Not like that. Not like that.
Cut the credits. Cut the credits. He said the line.
I guess that is one benefit of House of the Dragon, is that we don't like the story is finished, right? Like we don't have to necessarily worry about too many. Well, George told us, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's more about like the definitive like account, compared to the numerous like opinions we would get in Fire and Blood. Like that's really the
Yeah.
only thing
and that's
we're
I think
looking at.
that's what
I'll
helps.
have-
The story is not like super set in stone from Fire and Blood. And also, I mean, it needs to be fleshed out a lot. It's not a very long story.
I'll have you know that Mushroom is a very reliable source. I trust him for everything.
Do you think he's going to be in the show?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I think he doesn't fit the tone at all, and he probably would feel too much like a Tyrion thing.
That's true. He could be in the background.
Yeah, maybe there's like a reference to it at some point, but I really don't think they would ever show.
Rhaenyra looks over her shoulders like, Mushroom, what do you think? Milady, my huge member.
It gives me signs and portents. It leads to the true north. It's like a compass.
Oh my god.
It will be fun, I guess, like just as a cross comparison to see what interpretation they choose when they're telling the story. Because there are places where it's like we don't know what happened, but here are 3 opinions.
How is Lord Beesbury meeting his fate? That's the one I really want to know.
Oh, same. My poor boy, Lord Beesbury.
Let me just look up Lord Beesbury real quick.
Kristen Cole is gonna fuck his shit up. I mean, it has to be. That's the most cinematic one.
Getting thrown out onto those spikes and going,
Oh my god. The things I do for love, just shove out a window. That's the worst version of it, to be fair.
I'm thinking the middle ground version, but yeah, we'll see.
You know, my worst fear is that we keep getting like a callback per episode.
Ooh, I truly hope not. That is the worst possible universe there.
Yeah. As soon as you said the things I do for love, I can just see Damon saying that and then throwing some like Hiroshi sellsword off a ship.
But these writers, they're smart. Like, they gotta know that, like, Game of Thrones, the show, is not well regarded right now. Like, you don't want to connect your thing to a pile of shit.
Yeah, I think this was more of a pilot thing.
But if we only reference things that people liked, then nothing can go wrong, guys.
Damon's gonna say the bells, they mean surrender. We've established this.
As we take Bloodstone, the bells, they mean surrender. And then Damon gets him on his dragon and says, I don't care about the bells. Truly, truly awful. I can't wait for someone to talk about impregnating the Vale of Arryn with 20 good men.
God, I feel both nostalgic and angry.
Ugh. No.
I still think about Davos saying there's no one left in the Reach when they're talking about who's going to take over in the South.
God!
I mean, like, the show, like, I know a lot of people are, like, did not like the last couple seasons of the show, and, like, a lot of people are very angry about it, but, like, consensus-wise, like, world consensus-wise, is it really that everybody hated it, or is it, like, you know, more like 60-40?
I mean, there's a subreddit for a group of people out there that really, really like that last season.
My parents loved it.
My dad did too. So they got the over 50 somethings liking
casuals.
it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand it, Mom. Okay.
I
Yeah,
guess
they're only show watchers.
There's a question like, do you guys know the people that you knew that were into Game of Thrones, or are you feeling like there's like the same excitement level? Or I know people mentioned that the show is coming, like that I knew that were kind of into Game of Thrones, like that I work with and around. But then like this week, no one was like, oh yeah, that's this weekend. Like, I'm curious if it's going to be something that like hits maybe after a week or so. Like, it didn't seem like it was as big of a thing this time around.
Adam, I'm the opposite of a gatekeeper. I make people enjoy my interests by yelling at them to watch it.
You're like, I pushed them through the gate and off the cliff.
Yes, literally. Get in.
I mean,
Not
there was
fandom.
Yeah,
there was a lot of hype on Twitter that today, like leading up to it, like way more than I expected. But
It was
it'll
but
it'll be
also our circles are a Song of Ice and Fire Twitter.
I'm about to say, yeah, like
yeah.
I don't talk to this. I don't talk about this with other people.
It'll be interesting to see the numbers and how it does.
I think that we'll have a good feel for how people, like this is a new show, new season. I think people like us are cautiously optimistic. I think that people who are really, really into the show are into it. And, I think that the rest of the world probably doesn't really care that much right now. But if the first season's really, really, really good, that's how you get everybody into the next season. And that'll be like the true test of whether or not this is as big or close to as big
just
as
in time for
Game of
Discovery to
Thrones.
cancel it, so it's all right.
I'm about to say they just like HBO Max just released like this huge like trailer thing of like all their upcoming shit, and I was like, good lord, like that's like a lot of stuff, and is that still set in stone? Shit.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I haven't been like keeping up with this, but like, is HBO like buying Discovery or is Discovery buying HBO? I don't really know like what's going on with that.
It's a merger.
The merger.
But somehow Discovery's in charge, and they're like canceling stuff left and right and firing people.
Bunch of
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah, they're talking about we should just make documentaries, and you're like, what are you doing?
I mean, their security for Game of Thrones / House of the Dragon leaks has not improved, clearly.
Nope.
So,
Yeah, I think they fired the security people.
and didn't replace them.
Nope. Yeah, I was told last night, like, oh, it leaked here, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch it because I wanted to watch it specifically at the time it released with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
So it took a considerable effort from me when given it.
Yeah, I know at least Bina watched it leaked, but I don't know anybody else who did.
But I mean, it's different when it leaks. Like it's like it was on. I guess it was on HBO or whatever Canada. Like this morning.
I think it was like multiple leaks. Like I think that
Yeah, like
it
it
like
actually got put
leaked.
up early.
It actually got put up in Canada early, and I think that it leaked somewhere else as well.
It leaked on HBO Go, I think, at some point.
That's fun.
That still exists.
Apparently.
It's worth noting that like even a lot of us who are like really excited, like I mean, I was sort of like, I'll give it an episode and see until maybe the last like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh no, this is actually looking good, and it's starting to get hype. Like a month ago, like I wasn't like super hyped for this because I was like, I don't know, man, I don't know. But like the more they released, the better it looked. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
very
I've-
similar for me. Sorry, go ahead, Casey.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say I think that I've had enough time to like grieve Game of Thrones, and I feel like it's natural for me to like be okay with watching with this now. So I feel like I was so torn apart by like the last.
it's like Casey
season.
just sort of forgot about Game of Thrones.
Casey, do you believe in love after loss? Is the real question.
Who has a better story than Casey the Broken?
Oh my god.
Casey the blue-eyed broken one.
Queen's
No.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
it's this the I mean, I'm extremely excited for the show, but also like my expectations are lower, not because of past disappointment, but like I said before, like we have the story. It's I mean, it's in the bag. We know how it ends. There's
Yeah.
not anxiety about like, oh my god, is it going to catch up to George, and like what are they going to improvise, and how are they going to fill in the gaps? It's I don't know, I have a lot of calm.
You
They
know,
can't
I
hurt
can't
me
wait-
anymore.
I can't wait for them to put Viserys on the throne instead of Aegon the Third. Aegon the
Well-
Dragon's Bane doesn't exist anymore. It's Viserys the Dragon's Bane.
That would actually piss me off.
I do feel like D&D did kind of steal us a little bit. I mean, maybe that's something we take from that, 'cause it's like, all watchers are bastards in the eyes of those guys. So you know.
As long as we
use
get
it as armor, he can't hurt you.
That's
God.
right.
You know, rereading Fire and Blood, as long as we get as many seasons until we get to the Battle Above the God's Eye, I'll be
Yeah,
happy.
I mean, that's like the. It's like just make it to the Red Wedding. Just make it to that fucking God's
Right.
Eye battle.
Dude, give me the butcher's ball.
Yes. Have frickin' Kristen Cole be shot full of arrows and ridden
Ready,
over by
G.
100 horses.
Give me what is it? The first battle of Tumbleton? Oh,
Oh, the sack of Tumbleton.
yeah. Or is it the second one with the betrayers?
There's a bunch of battles at Tumbleton.
Fair. Give me the fish feed. That's what I'm waiting for.
You know all the Hightower stands are hype, so you know that'd be good.
I'm so ready for Kermit. That's all I'm ready for. Kermit, Oscar.
Elmo.
Kermit the Hightower here. Or Kermit the Tully. And I'm Oscar the Grouch Tully. I can't wait for Elmo Tully to show.
Oh no. I don't know. We don't get a lot of Tullys in Princess and the Queen, do we?
No, they're kind of neutral for a big part of it.
Because
Yeah,
Grandpa
Right at
is
the end, which we might
is
not
the
even
green.
see potentially.
Yeah, and it's like Starks don't play a big role, but then they play a big role in a small area.
Yeah, at the end.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
For
See how when they said something in the north, and they had
Rickon
Stark.
Rickard Stark doing his best impression of
Every other Stark that's existed. Yeah.
Nice.
stupid belts over his chest. I've always hated that design.
We hear
choice.
his army is zigging and it's zagging.
We've been hurt so bad.
Guys, are we
We're all
okay?
dying inside.
Yeah, like
Fine.
watching the first episode of Game of Thrones and Sansa being like, "I must marry Joffrey. It's the only thing I've ever asked for," and you're like, "Oh, no."
I don't like this.
I don't like this.
It's definitely a monkey's paw situation towards the end.
You know the real thing that they robbed us from Game of Thrones is that monkey that knight has. I forget his name. He's one of the ones in the Reach.
With Renly?
Mark
Yes.
Mullendor.
Mark Mullendor. Thank you.
Holy shit.
There you go. Yeah.
How did you pull that out of thin air?
He loses an arm, and he was a dick to Renly, to Brienne.
Brienne.
And
Yeah, to Brienne specifically.
He was one of the people Brienne fucks up.
All right then. Any final thoughts before we go? Anything you guys want to talk about coming up, or anything else about the episode, or just
I assume.
in general?
I hope that we see Daemon again soon. I hope that it's not like a little bit of a break without him or whatever. They actually like show what he's doing or what he's up to.
No, I think he's gonna go fight in the Stepstones, and they're gonna show that because there's some battles that appear that seem like they're gonna be like that in the trailers.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they were
I
talking about
haven't-
the Triarch, so
I've honestly like just started paying attention to like extra stuff like that's been coming out, like trailers and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, same. But hey, we're back.
We're
back
back.
again. There's like 5 people listening now.
We can't be hurt this time.
That's right.
We've
This
already
time,
been
we're
hurt.
in charge. Wait, what?
let the hype flow through you.
That's right.
Everybody go out,
Yeah.
pre-order your Funko Pops.
Oh my god.
David about to go bankrupt.
You're like, oh, I bought all the Blackfire stuff. I bet wrong.
I bet wrong on the Blackfire.
All right. Well, this was fun. So, because it's been a while. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the past year with like classes and stuff, I haven't even had time for podcasting hardly at all anyway.
I'm now looking for a
Bought a
Kermit Kelly
house,
meme.
all this stuff. Yeah, now it's like, oh, I'll get this edited and up, next year.
Woo!
Oh, my goal is to try to do it tonight, but we'll see. Anyway, so we will be back next week for episode 2. And yeah, I don't have a synopsis or an episode title or anything for that yet. And we didn't get a preview, but apparently that preview is online now. So we will discuss that more.
It's called The Rogue Prince.
It's called The Rogue Prince. Oh, see? So,
I need that audio that Preston Jacobs put into his video for The Rogue Prince. It's the best audio in the world. Oh.
If you say Preston Jacobs' name 3 times, I think you summon him, so be careful with that.
I don't have to worry about that. That's my homie.
No, I'm not. It's an ongoing joke.
I know. You're good. You're good, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, so this was fun, and look forward to next week. And you can find us mostly on the Discord and on all the things. I'll post links to whatever on the podcast. And so it's fun. It's good to be back.
Woo!
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll direct your attention to the general chat and my great Tully meme.
Dear Lord.
Good God.
All I want is Kermit Tully. That's all I want, really.
I'm going to have to use that. Okay.
I mean,
Depends
there's a
on your
subreddit
ask.
for a group of people out there that really, really like that last season.
My
Yeah.
parents loved it.
My dad did too. So they got the over 50 somethings
Filthy
liking it.
casuals.
Yeah.
No worries. And this is why introductions are always the hardest part to edit. But it always comes out looking masterful, so it's fine. No one's
worry
ever the
about it.
wiser. Yeah. I might spend 20 minutes editing the introduction, and then I just skip through the rest of it.
Exactly.
Right. Because that's the part people actually listen to before they turn us off.
Did something happen?
Yeah, Michael's gonna try and leave and rejoin, it seems.
Oh, okay.
Muted that whole time.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. The mute button is different. That's all right. I was like, wow, it's a hard audience right now.
Can you hear me now? Alright, my
Fucking
apologies. for that,
fucking
guys.
crickets. It was brutal.
Fucking firing on all cylinders right now.
Right.
Adam, I can only imagine how beautiful that intro was that you said to nobody.
Oh no, it was not. It would have needed heavy editing anyway. But it would have moved us on.
My dog is very upset about someone. Someone. He is mad online. Hey, Matt.
Hey,
He's
what's
mad
up?
online. Hey, Matt.
Did any of you guys get to watch the next on? Because I couldn't get it to show up on my HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't think it's on. It's not on here. All I got are all that stuff they released on YouTube before
Well,
the
mine,
premiere.
Yeah.
mine just started playing a little after the show thing.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
saw that,
But there was no next episode preview or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There
none.
was some talk about the season, I guess, but
Yeah, none.
boo.
Right?
All right.
Right? Tease us. I want to tease us.
Are your
I
dragon nipples
want to
hard?
be edged. Extremely.
Right.
Extremely.
It's like that guy at that one part of the episode that literally had his dick in her butt, like, for that whole, like, 5-second speech.
I don't know. I couldn't really see. Well, we're going to get to that. We'll talk more about that. Why don't we go ahead and get started, and then we can
He had hella ass. That's all
come
I'm
back to
saying.
that.
He had hella ass. That's all I'm saying.
All right, where are we here?
Maybe
Oh yeah, there's also no audio channel when you do it this way to like type specifically in the audio channel.
Oh, there is. If you
Yeah,
just
there
hover over general, you just open.
Oh,
chat.
there
is.
And there's a chat
If you
right
just
there.
hover
they
over
do it in the-
general,
they
you
didn't-
just open chat, and there's a
Oh,
chat.
look at that. I didn't think you used to have that.
Yeah.
Hello. Look
Yeah,
how fancy we are.
It's there, but I also can't figure out how to remove it from my screen, so now it's just going to be there.
Oh, so there's an X right in the corner. You can just click on. Oh, so there's an
it
X
looks like
right
the
in the
same
corner.
X to
You can just
like
click on.
exit. Oh no, it isn't the same X to exit out the whole application. Okay. Oh my god, did I suddenly get too old for this?
A Zoom symposium. All right, are we ready to get this show on the road?
Yes.